We have our game loaded up here in the upper right. You're looking at the main base of the red Terran player. He is teamless, or Protoss player, excuse me. He is teamless. He is fantastic. He is the one, the only Parting. And, of course, his opponent in the bottom left in the blue, relatively newly returned from the military for Storm Gaming. He is, well, he's the quirky one, Gumiho. And, you know, I talked about quirky Gumiho. He's potentially oddball builds. Well, you know, there's one thing that maybe there's one player that maybe even does even more aggressive, even weirder builds than what Gumiho does, and that player is Parting. So we got a Max Packs build coming on up here in this game number 1. I'm curious to see whether Gumiho opens up with the kind of Marauder idea that he's been doing. I haven't had a chance to cast him in like the last month. I've been moving, you know. I moved like 1,500 miles back from Dallas to New Hampshire. So I missed out on a lot of casting time because that's a long drive. So I haven't really seen what Gumiho has been going for recently, because for a while he was opening up double Marauder without concussive shells, or double Marauder with concussive shells. But in this game, well, he's not doing any of that for the time being. He's opening up barracks with command center on the high ground to make sure he doesn't die. And notice Parting has blocked this wall. And I believe this means that the Zealot can actually run in. Yeah, okay, that he's blocked the wall in such a way that there is no wall whatsoever. So now the Zealot's going to try to find his way on in. Marine's trying to micro as they can. One Marine's going to go down. Second Marine is going to go down. I mean, of course Marines can out micro this. Actually, the SCVs are going to kill the Zealot first. SCV citizens arrest, folks. No worries here. The Zealot will die. But now there's a second one in the main base, and this Zealot's just gonna, yeah, there we go. A couple SCV, a little bit of SCD damage. But the big scary thing is when this Stalker pops on out. Now, you don't want to lose both Zealots before this happens, but still. The Thunderdome is going to be here, but now the Stalker's up. And of course, folks, Stalkers have infinite microability against Marines. It's really the SCVs are the only thing that the Stalkers are really scared of. So we have one Stalker here, and we're seeing Marines, of course, get target fired on down. 3 shots to kill off a Marine. I believe maybe it's 4. No, it's 4, right? Because Marines have the same amount of amount of HP as SCVs. But there we have it. GG Parting. He takes game 1. So, you know what? Without further ado, we have in the upper right here, in the red, he is the Terran player. He's up 1-0, and he's got an early probe on the map in game number 2. He is, you know him, you love him, Parting. And of course, in the bottom left here, in the blue, well, he's fallen victim. Maybe he's going to fall victim to the same thing again. He is, for Storm Gaming, Gumiho. Was it not VHT? Wardy normally covers it. That's generally a much better time zone for him. I'm surprised that he hasn't... I'm surprised that there wasn't any English caster for that. Maybe it would have been worth it for me to go and really destroy my sleep schedule, because you know what? I wouldn't. Anytime you're the only English coverage for something on your personal channel, it tends to be pretty nice for you for any sort of big event. Like even on ESL Cups, like if you get lucky and you're the only person that gets like you know, a Max Pack semifinal or something, you're gonna get like triple your normal viewership. Huh. Interesting. Anyway, once again, we have the Max Specs build coming out in here from Parting, and again, Gumiho, well, he's going to try to defend this. This time, of course, there is there's not a pylon in this, so it does mean that, well, the Zealot is going to go down. It's going to try to knock down this reactor, and then it's going to be somewhat successful in that. Oh, but Parting, he's not doing the same thing in game number 1. He's like, oh, you know what? You think I'm doing this? That's cute. Parting's not doing the same thing. No, he's doing Void Ray Rush off of a Max Specs build. in this game, and you love to see it here. It's just a great way to play with the expectations of your opponent. You're forcing out all of these units that realistically aren't that great against Void Rays. I mean, yeah, okay, Marines can fight against Void Rays, sure. But because he's done this, he has pretty much forced a second command center to be built because, well, you know what, Gumiho's assuming this is a max specs build from parting. He has forced, well, a lot of Marines, like all of these things are good against the max specs build, not all that great against what Gumiho is doing. And okay, it looks like Gumiho really does not have much of an idea. We don't see any tech labs go. Oh, I guess actually we do have a tech lab going down on the factory now. So Gumiho has started to realize what's up, and I love this Reaper, by the way. We have a shield battery. No, sorry, that's a pylon coming in at home, but there's nothing to defend this. So one of these stalkers is going to have to probably be recalled home to defend things. We do have a recall, I believe. But for the moment here, this is just causing some massive problems. The first Void Ray, I believe, is out, finding value. But yeah, there we go. So now we have a recall coming on in. 2 workers will die. And of course, on the other side of the map, this Void Ray, well, really we're forcing both players to micro their hearts out all over the place. So the Void Ray is doing a great job here. We're going to see the supply depot get target fired on down immediately as both of them are now dead. Void Ray is finding more and more value here. Now the bunker is doing a great job of zoning out the ground units, as apparently Observer Plus has broken. That's fun. That is the Marine that is being produced out of that barracks. Anyway, we have the Stalker going to find its way onto the high ground here, trying to knock down this tank immediately. It's going to be mass repaired, but Void Rays, they are some powerful fruit, and the Void Ray's not going to... Blizzard, please. Void Ray is not going to go on down here, so now we're going to see the Void Rays getting on top of this barracks here, just finding as much value as possible, and soon we're going to get to that alpha of Chads, those 3 Void Rays that really just make life so problematic for the Terran player. And I mean, Gumiho just doesn't feel like he's really able to develop the tech that I mean, the fact that this is such a weird way to hold it, because traditionally you're going to go and you're going to say, okay, Cyclones. Cyclones are my magical fruit. That's fine. But this game, it is missile turrets and bunkers and like random, very few Marines and tanks. And I mean, that's fine. But what I really want to see here from parting, of course, I want to see the fleet beacon. I want to see the Tempest get added on. And it's probably too late, of course. Vikings against Tempest are very, very good, but it doesn't change that I want it. Now, okay, we will see this barracks get target fired on down, which means no more Marines, but realistically, this is a missile turret tank Viking defense. Everything else is really secondary to the cause here. So more and more tanks are popping on out. Now that Gumiho is kind of at the 2 tank mark, it's going to be a little bit harder for any sort of ground-based tech of parting to really break him. And the Void Rays can't really take this fight. As well, as I say that, they just target fire down the tank. Man, that tank died so fast. But I like this. So we're at 3 Void Rays. We're at that Chad Ray mark. And now Phoenix are underway. So Phoenix, of course, allow you to lift things. They allow you to, well, really, the Phoenix are there for the lifts. And that's why these missile turrets are just causing so many problems. Because, well, if the missile turrets weren't there, I mean, the Void Rays would just dive on and lift everything. It's fine. How many Vikings do we have on the field? We have 3 Vikings, 1 for each Void Ray. So we're reaching that point where the Vikings are really, really where they need to be. And now the tanks are able to start moving on forward, removing some of this static defense. And again, the Vikings and the missile turrets are doing a great job of preventing parting from getting where he wants to be. Now, eventually, we're going to see Gumiho try to move on forward to a point where the missile turrets aren't really defending the tanks anymore. And that's where things are going to get a little bit more dicey. But it is interesting because I think we're starting to hit the point where Gumiho has held this pretty simply. So Parting is going to get his natural. He's got Blink underway, but that is a very late Blink for the type of game that Parting is going for. Generally, you either get Blink or you get Phoenix out of the Void Ray opener. It's one, the Void Ray proxy. It's one or the other. And that kind of is the follow-up because you're trying to punish a specific tech pattern that we've seen that you see the Protoss player go for. Anyway, the Vikings have also hit critical mass, so we're starting to see the Void Rays go on down. And with the tanks pushing this out, I mean, Parting is at 39 supply, Gumiho is at 70. He may try to take his base, whatever, but realistically, he's just going to hit this point where he just has a lot of stuff. He's going to run across the map. And I don't know that Parting is going to be able to stop him anymore. It's just a couple Stalkers. Blink is not really anywhere close to being done. Parting is losing pretty much all of its infrastructure across the map at this point. This gateway that was made is going down. If Parting wants, he can go knock down the other gateway, but you know, at this point, Gumiho is going to be able to take his natural if he wants to. The supply lead is just really, really big, and I don't know how Parting really is going to be able to make this happen. And there we go. Okay, so we're going to see this the proxies get taken on down as well, which means there are going to be no gateways on the map for. There's going to be 0 army production on the map for quite a while here for Parting. He's got one gateway coming down, but that's not going to do it. We're going to need absolutely more than that. Yeah, Blink's going to be done, but look into the supply. All right, so now Gumiho is going to move out on the map here. He's got a medevac. 1 medevac for all these Marines, that's fine, but really the story is these 4 tanks. So Parting, he says, look, I don't like this. This makes me feel uncomfy. This does not make me happy whatsoever, so I'm going to just try to base trade you here. And you know what? This is actually going to be the best possible move because the entire army of Gumiho has run across the map. It means these Stalkers are actually able to find some sort of value as the citizens' arrest is happening. We're going to see mass recall of these Stalkers as well. He was trying to force Gumiho home, but was unsuccessful in that endeavor. Now, shield battery overcharge is doing what they can, but it's not going to be enough. GG Gumiho. He takes game number 2, and folks, this is going to be a series after all. So once again, we see Parting doing similar shenanigans, but this time, folks, it's 2 gates on the map, not 1. Parting says, you know what? I won game 1, where I just kind of ran on in there. Game 2 was close, but I didn't have enough stuff. So what if I make it so I have more stuff? That sounds like fun. Also, it's exciting. So my preview monitor, okay, so we're seeing Parting do something very similar that he did in game number 1. My preview monitor that I use, my secondary monitor, has died. Or it's starting to die. It's got all sorts of lines on it now. So I ordered a backup monitor, and I think it's coming in today, so I'm very excited. Now we have the Devil Zealot. They're going to find their way on it. This is going to be a tech lab that goes down immediately. We're going to see shields go down on 1 Zealot, but that's going to be just about that. Zealots, I think they want to sit on top of where this tech lab is going, or excuse me, this reactor keeps going down, but they're not going to be all that successful in that. This time they're going to go up once again. There's a little bit less health on, or a little bit more health on the tech lab, a little bit less health on the Zealots this time, so they're not going to be successful in doing that for a 3rd time. But now we have 3 Zealots here, and the Stalkers are coming on out. This, realistically, I'm sorry, that was a tech lab. And it's going to be Marauders. You know what? Actually, I really like that because it's going to be Stalkers popping on out here. And Marauders versus Stalkers, we know how that one works. Right now, the Stalkers are going to find their way on the high ground. SCV is trying to repair here, but not really getting the servicer they're looking for at first. But there's a bunker up now, and once again, folks, it looks like Gumiho has the hold. Right now, we're seeing the Stalkers go down, which means that the SCVs are not being exactly warded away. But you know what? That's the position that you're looking for with these with the Stalker here. So the SCVs are now starting to die, and it looks like ever just barely. As I say that, nice juggling here from Gumiho, making sure that he's able to keep everything alive. And there we go. The Zealot goes down. Parting, yeah, he's got a natural coming down behind this, but it's delayed. And Gumiho is going for that Marauder opening that we were talking about. And we're like, okay, is he still doing this? I don't know. But he does have his natural done. He is getting his starport underway. And he's just going to go for a... what's the word? He's just going to go for a Widowmine drop on the other side of the map here, looking to take advantage of any sort of timing that he may have. I mean, realistically, Parting, his entire army is on this side of the map. So any sort of Widowmines that find their way into Parting's base is going to be some danger fruit indeed. But okay, so the Reaper, was that newly? I think that Reaper is newly made. is going to try to do that same thing we were talking about with the Widow Mines, where he's going to run across the map here and say, hey, look, dude, I know you have like 0 production at home. And of course, it's like 5 or 6 Reaper shots to actually kill a probe. So it's not quite as effective as a Widow Mine drop, but hey, you know what? It's kind of infinite damage so long as, well, you can keep it alive. So 2 workers will go down. We're going to see the Reaper find his way out into the main base, looking for a 3rd probe here, just trying to find some value. But of course, all the probes getting pulled here. Reaper does have to be careful not to lose his life, and the Stalker's here as well. So realistically, it's going to be fine. But still, probes do have to get pulled. Reaper is forcing value. And, well, Gumiho, he's not happy about this position that he's in, but he's not unhappy here, as we will see. Nice job there from my goodness, Parting. That was disgusting. Generally, we see that with Blink Micro. I don't think I've ever seen that with a with Widow Mines, but you know, we do have Gumiho. He's going to have a drop here in the Naturals. Party finds its way on in. Sim is going to get target fired on down. Now the Stalkers finding their way on into this position where there is just nothing here to defend it. And, well, it's now a 3-gate, folks. 3 gates. Oh, Blink is a nice thing. So, yeah, there's some Stalkers at home doing what they can, but it looks like Parting is doing more damage first. So we're going to see all of these SCVs that are going to go on down. Marines get target fired on down. Medevac is going to go down as well. We're going to see the hot pick up. Not quite. Parting a little bit. He's just a little bit too anxious about things because Parting's got to deal with this drop at home. And I think he's been able to do that for the most part. Force the majority of this army back out. So 1920 workers are going to bite the dust here. Is he going to get the tank? No. Okay, he's going to be forced out. Well, only 4 Stalkers will escape, but still worthwhile in the utmost, as long as Parting does not lose his natural, which is starting to become a serious question here. As there we go. We're going to see the recall Stalkers move down to the low ground. Probes getting pulled, and the natural will not go down. So now Parting, he's got 8 Stalkers. He doesn't have any tech just yet. I don't believe there is a... There's just a robo, no tech lab. But he does have 3 gateways. He's been able to shoo away this drop for the most part, and now once again he's moving out on the map here with that Warp Prism, just going to try to find some value. And folks, he has found a lot of value in this game. He's up double the workers of his opponent. And yeah, a Protoss player wants to be ahead and expects to be ahead by some number of workers at this point in the game, but that's like 8, maybe. It's not 15. It's not 17. It's not 16. So Parting here really just trying to exert his will on the map at this point. Ideally, he prevents Gumiho from taking his natural, but even still, this is a pretty good army. Now, the tank makes this a little bit more difficult. Tank in the Widow Mine, but with this observer here, the Widow Mine is going to go on down, which means the Stalkers can just kind of run on in there on that tank. Nice splits, making sure that not too much damage from the tank fire happens, but realistically, kind of pushing into that tank with that blink is not easy. So now we see Gumiho here trying to play Zombie Terran in a world where there is potentially a cure for the infection, right? He's really not in a good spot whatsoever. But if he can continue to find little drips of damage, if he can continue to find ways to stay alive, maybe eventually his decaying corpse will be cured and he'll be able to be a real boy once again. But for the moment, well, it's a little bit scary. Now, of course, should point out here, Gumiho did go for double reactor on his initial 3 barracks. So building 5 Marines at a time, that's a lot more production than he would normally have. Traditionally, you know, you go single reactor, double tech lab, and you get 2 Marines, 2 Marauders at the time for like your stim +1 combat shield timing. And that does also mean that stim and +1 or the stim and combat shields finish at similar times. But in this game where Gumiho just needs stuff to make sure that he doesn't die, yeah, getting that slower tech lab is a fair trade for just making sure that you have enough Marines to stay alive here. So we will have the Marines. They're going to look to stim on, and now a stim is done. Knock down a lot of these Stalkers, because the rest of them, of course, they don't really have an escape. There is no blink. It's only the Stalkers that can fit in this medevac that will be able to escape. And we're also going to see 2 of these gateways get target fired on down. So Parting, he's going to go back down to 1 gateway, or 2 gateways, I think, for the time being. There we go. 3 more gateways on the way. And I love this from Parting. He says, you know what, Colossus, they're so blasé. They're so last year. I don't really want them. Disruptors are my friends now. Disruptors are going to be what I'm going to make. And, you know, it makes a lot of sense, right? A, disruptors are great against tanks. B, they force Gumiho to split with an already small army. So we're going to have to see whether that is going to be workable or not, as the tanks are going to look to siege on up here. And I mean, this is a scary push from Gumiho. Regardless of the damage that parting has done, this is still a terrifying push, and the shield batteries are going to get target fired down immediately. The first disruptor shot is going to find just about nothing. 100 minerals there. 2 marines are not what you need. And by the way, folks, this is just Stalker. This is not Blink Stalker. There's nothing that will allow this army to get on top of these tanks. Not really. There's no additional micro ability that we can see, as disruptor's going to go on in. One shot's going to go down. And now, you got to be careful there, party. You're going to lose the Warp Prism. Does not matter. GG, he says. Gumiho is going to take game number 3. All right, folks. Here we are, spotting the upper left in the red. He is, of course, down 1 game in this series. Looking to take it all the way back. See what he can do for no one but himself and his fans. He is parting. And I guess Corsair too, parting. He's not on a team, but he's pretty heavily sponsored by Corsair, so I guess that's his team, give or take. Anyway, in the bottom right here, in the blue, up 2-1 in this series off a couple fantastic holds. He is, well, the Taltaran, Gumiho. Double DB Choi. The magical juice that I'm chugging is water. H2O. Agua. Well, actually, technically, Agua Fresca is its own thing. H2O. The hydrogen monoxide. The life-giving juice. Now, interestingly enough, here we see parting. He's going for much more standard build in this game, and that Zealot was canceled. He's like, okay, you're not going Proxy Reaper. I don't need the Zealot. And it's a much more standard map for a much more standard game for a much more standard map. We have parting. He's gonna go, and he's gonna develop his main. He's gonna develop his natural, and we're gonna see a build that we've not yet seen. He's not gonna proxy something, folks. That's crazy. What do you mean, question mark, double DB Choi? What do you mean there? Surely you've heard of water. Only the greatest drink. It's an orange water bottle there, double DB Choi. It's an orange, heavily beat up water bottle. And by the way, folks, I said no proxy. I lied. I said parting was not gonna do any shenanigans in this game, and I mean, who am I kidding? It's parting. So we're gonna see proxy starboard here. This is just gonna be for a couple oracles, most likely. I don't think it's gonna be anything else. So we're gonna have to see whether Gumiho is going to take any damage from this. Proxy oracles are don't feel nearly as nice as okay, we're gonna see this command center not get delayed. The SCV will go down, but not quite the proper timing here. If party had gone and like shaded immediately on the command center, he would have canceled it. But anyway, now that's a dead adept. The command center is alive. 1 SCV for 1 adept is a pretty significant trade in the Terran's favor. And is Gumiho gonna scout this? Okay, he's not. You know, 100% of convicted murderers have admitted to consuming dihydrogen monoxide before at some point in their life before their crime. So, you know, we gotta admit here, dihydrogen monoxide, it makes serial killers. Anyway, we're gonna see the Oracle is gonna find its way on in. 3 workers go down. Shouldn't be more than that, of course, because the medevac's just sitting on top of things. And behind this, well, it's gonna be Phoenix play for parting, which I do like. I really like these Phoenix styles in general. The question though is, A, how many Phoenix does he make? Does he go up to 5? Does he go up to 7 or 9? B, is this Phoenix Colossus or is this Phoenix Charizard? We really haven't seen much tech either way for parting at this point. I mean, it's a little too early to tell. But anyway, the Hellion has also found this, by the way. So eventually, I don't think that we're going to see parting commit to 7 Phoenix, just because realistically, he's probably not going to be able to have the time to keep that alive. So he's just going to get as many Phoenix as he can and then stop there. Yeah, Gumiho still plays StarCraft. He just came back from the military this summer. Like, yeah, like middle of the summer. There we go. It's going to be 3 Phoenix. And that's going to be that, because now there's a drop here that's going to knock this one down. The Hellion's going to look to try to dive on in, but no dice. Hellion is dead, and that's about that. So now it's going to be Phoenix Colossus, but with 3 Phoenix instead of 5, which honestly means these Phoenix are not that great. I mean, they're useful, and they can pick things up and harass, but we're not at any of those kind of Phoenix inflection points that make life really annoying for a Terran player. You know, you go up to 9 or 10 and then suddenly Phoenix are lifting everything for multiple fights. You go to 5 and then life becomes rather difficult indeed. But with these 3 here, I mean, things just don't die all that quickly. In fact, 1 Phoenix is just gonna get sacrificed. Hello, Lord Helix. And yeah, I'm not drinking dihydrogen, or I'm not drinking hydrogen peroxide. I'm not drinking. Was hydrogen peroxide, is that HO2? Is per 2? You know what? I was never very good at chemistry. Anyway, we do have this push from Gumiho finding its way onto the other side of the map here, and folks, let's be real. It is a bit of a scary one, right? There is a tank with this army. There are a couple cyclones. There's this one Viking, and we don't really have any tech from Gumiho out in earnest yet. It's just a bunch of adepts that aren't going to do a lot. I mean, there's an immortal. That's nice. And actually, with the immortal and the adepts here, that should be enough to keep this out for the time being, because it's just Marines and Stim is not done. So this was just a bit of a scary thing for Gumiho, right? He just says, yeah, you know, pay no attention to the Banshee in your natural. Just go and try to defend your 3rd base. But the Banshee's not going to get that much done, as only 2 workers will go down. There's detection. There are Phoenix. Really, he's building more. It's a really bold move to go for Banshees this late in the game when you know there are Phoenix on the map. Oh, is H2O2? Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I know double DB Choi. I know. Yeah, it's hydrogen. Dihydrogen monoxide is H2O. But I couldn't remember what hydrogen peroxide was, which is fine because, you know, I'm a robotics person. I don't really have to care about the chemistry of things, and if I do, well, it's aerothermal chemistry for rocket engines, and it's a little more interesting. And those are mostly hydrocarbons that you're dealing with. Anyways, we're gonna have like Phoenix. They're gonna dive on in the main base, find a little bit more value. Of course, it's only 2 Phoenix. They have a limited number of lifts, and it takes 3 shots to kill off SCV, so they're gonna do what they can. They're so cute. The couple Phoenix trying to find some value, and they do. They kill for workers. They delay the E-base for an amount of time. But now, well, 3rd base is done here for Gumiho. He's on a pretty respectable economy at this point. He's starting to really develop his army. His +1 is just about done, just about ready to time out with his stim combat shields, and now the Banshees are starting to find some value. We're gonna have to see a recall on these Phoenixes, but again, it's 2 Banshees here. They one-shot workers, so you gotta sink that one up there, Gumiho. This is a lot more shots than it might normally take, but still 9-10 workers are gonna go on down, and even if Gumiho loses his Banshees at this point, that is fantastic trades here for the Terran player. He's got his +1 armor underway. He got 10 workers. He's ahead by just about 7 workers on the Protoss player that has a base up, that has Chrono, that has all of these things that make that realistically parting should be ahead on workers right now, especially considering mules are a thing. The one downside, of course, the fact that Gumiho, his army supply is very equivalent to the Protoss player, which is not great. Because, I mean, look at this. We can see Parting's army is much more expensive. So it's kind of one of those things, right? You expect for the majority of the game the Terran army supply to be higher than the Protoss player because of how the Terran army scales. In a similar way, you expect the Protoss economy to be bigger than the Terrans because of how that scales. And also, mules are a powerful thing. 250 minerals to drop. You want to make sure that you can match that economy in some way. So the question now that we have 3 Colossus, I think it's 3 Colossus, right? Yeah, we have 3 Colossus on the field. Where does Parting go here? Where does he get his 2nd level of splash? Is it Storms? I don't think so. Most likely it's going to be Disruptor tech here. And it seems like Gumiho, for the most part, is pretty content to turtle, or not to turtle necessarily, but to stay on 3 bases, go up to 4 eventually, not get all that aggressive, because well, his army is not really all that great. I mean, it can fight, as a nice bit of my shot there will knock down a stalker and remove some shields, but it's not a fight. It's not an army that wants to be aggressive. That's for daggone sure. Actually, I would love to see some just temporary walls go up for Gumiho here, just to make sure that this push from Parting is unsuccessful, and really with only one tank, that's actually the big problem. So the tank is going to start firing away here. Nice concave here from Gumiho on the top of the ramp, trying to make something happen here. But these three Colossus, they are firing strong indeed. Parting, it looks like he's getting ready to punch on through. The War Prism morphing everything in, and GG Parting. He takes game number 4, and folks, once again, we're going to game 5. So here we are in the bottom left here, in the blue, or excuse me, in the red. I know my colors, it's fine. He is, of course, the victor of game number 4 for his Sugar Puppy Bears, Parting. And his opponent in the bottom right in the blue. Return from the military. Can he take game number 5 here? He is the one, the only Gumiho. And look at this, folks. We got Proxy Reaper coming on in this game number 5. Now, Parting should be able to scout that something's wrong. He's going to scout the double reactor. He's going to scout the fact that there is no barracks in the main base. And this should tell him everything he needs to know. Of course, just because he knows everything he needs to know doesn't mean he's going to be able to act on it. And this is not the most aggressively proxied barracks, to be totally honest. It is it's almost like a Maca Rex for a Reaper. And so yeah, Parting, interesting. He's gonna say, okay, I know how much gas you mine. I know how long you mined it. I don't feel like I need a zealot to deal with this. I don't think that you've proxied far enough over that I have to be worried about it. And that's a great read from Parting. He's absolutely correct. The Reaper's coming out now, but it has been rallied home for the most part to deal with this probe. And again, it's a Macarax idea more than anything else. And well, Macarax, you want to force the Zealot. And well, as I say that, the Zealot's being remade once again. So never mind. The important thing has been twisted. But folks, not only is this a Macarax, it's a Maca factory. Okay. And the really interesting thing to me, though, is we see a tech lab going down here on this barrack. So, well, actually, what I think we're going to see here, we're going to see like a 1-1-1 tank liberator push, I think. And of course, the ideal here, right? You've gone for this, and you kind of forced the Protoss player to defend what you think is Proxy Reaper. Okay, so Cyclones. Again, this is a Gumiho build. This is a Gumiho build if I've ever seen one. So the Reaper's going to try to find his way up. Says, okay, well, there's the wall. No big deal. And here's the big deal, though. What is that? The Zealot is going to find his way on into the other side. The starport is going to get delayed as the SCV does go down. The Reaper's going to be forced back. And actually, the Reaper's going to get killed. And this is a disaster here for Gumiho. He's trying to make stuff happen. But, I mean, the Cyclone's going to pop out, and that is going to eventually take this thing down, this Zealot down. But, I mean, look at how delayed this is at this point. Stalker's going to show up again. So let's say, you know, SCV, go away. And again, disaster here for Gumiho. He's going to try to come back from it, build a command center, but already Parting is natural is done. He's building a robo. He's got that glint in his eye, that killer instinct that says, hey, folks, I'm going to just go kill you. And that's absolutely valid here. 2 Cyclones and maybe a couple Marines are not going to be enough to deal with what Parting is going to throw out. We're going to see 2 more gateways, so it's just going to be 3-gate pressure. Well, hard to call it pressure when it's just going to win the game, but it's just going to be a 3-gate from Parting here in this game number 5. And man, Gumiho is going to be sorely pressed to defend that. I mean, he's doing a good job here with these lock-ons, knocking out a couple of these stalkers. But of course, once the War Prism's out, well, Cyclones, unless they lock onto the War Prism itself, they're not going to do all that much. Okay, so a couple additional barracks underway here for Gumiho. I mean, makes sense. He just needs to build a lot of stuff to make sure he does not die. But I'm not sure that that is fast enough. So we have a tank coming on out here, but I believe that tank... Oh, man, if he got that tank... he will be able to deny any more tanks. Knocking down this tech lab is going to be really... Or I guess he's just... Yeah, there we go. If he can kill this factory, that's going to be really ideal. But even then, he's just going to be able to elevator his way on into the main base. And folks, you got to remember, this is a massive main base. It's pretty easy to elevator on into. But of course, the other thing is, with these 3 cyclones, so any sort of warp prism that doesn't have a lot of stalkers defending it is going to go down rather quickly indeed. So Parting, he's kind of realizing this. He says, you know what? Now, I'm going to do 3, instead of doing 3 gate all in, I'm just going to pressure here. I got a Twilight Council coming down behind this. I don't know that I'm going to be able to break the Terran here. It's just been too heavily telegraphed. But what I can do is I can keep you at home. I can keep you scared. I can keep you building defensive structures. The Stalkers are going to look to move on in. 1, 2, 3 volleys are going to go down, and there we go. The tank is dead. But there's only 1 level of link here. So the Cyclones, they're going to look for their lock-ons. The Marines are going to look to move on forward as the STVs are pulled. Party is going to be forced back. But that is going to be that. Gumiho is going to lose his tank. And you got to remember, there is no factory on the field right now. Yeah, no factory. So any sort of factory units that Gumiho has are the only factory units he's going to have in this game. Now, we do have more and more gateway units running across the map, of course. As I guess they warped in at home just because the warp prism was under fire. But now the Cyclones are going to go for their lock-ons. We should see some just nice hot pickups here. One Cyclone will go down. And again, every time a Cyclone goes down, there's no factory. You can't reproduce it. Every time any sort of tech unit, well, I guess medevacs aren't true, but anytime any sort of factory unit goes down, that is one less really powerful defensive tool that Gumiho is looking for, because it is the Cyclones, it is the tanks that is really keeping Gumiho alive for the most part. But now Gumiho is going to look to move out on the map here just a little bit, as his stim is getting close to being done, his combat shields as well. He's going to look to try to leverage this time to maybe find some sort of value on that, but, well, we have Immortals underway. Harding's going up to 6 gateways as he does take his 3rd base, and I mean, this drop is just not going to get all that much done. And oh man, that observer positioning there from Parting is fantastic. He knows exactly where the Terran army is, so we're going to see the Terran look to drop on this low ground in the slow zones and knock down a gateway, knock down a cyber core, and should be able to do that. I mean, one of the downsides of the way you've done this is it's kind of hard to defend. Now we do have the Cyclones going to find its way on into this 3rd base, and you know, even Cyclones, even without lock on, they do a pretty good job at knocking down workers. It's two hits there, but now blink is done in 5 seconds, and I think we're just going to see this army get blinked upon once blink is done. Interesting that we saw the gateway get target fired instead of the cyber core. Normally it is the cyber core, with good reason, right? Cyber core does buffer, does gateway stalkers, which of course is kind of like the primary unit that Gumiho has been built, or that Parting has been building for the time being. So again, kind of surprised to see that, but anyway, Gumiho is going to continue on with his pressure. Looks like that is a Cyclone drop in the medevacs. He's trying to find value in the front of the base, or in the front of the game. Yeah, in the front of the base once again of Parting. Now the stalkers are on the low ground, so theoretically that Cyclone drop could find some value. And Gumiho's army is big. Once again, that is something that he does have going for himself. His army is rather large, and on a map like this, the 3rd base is, well, it's defended by the rallies, so he doesn't really have to worry about Zealot run-bys as much. And in fact, I think we're gonna go see kind of a 1-1 ghost timing is gonna be what Gumiho is gonna go for, right? 1-1, you're gonna have 3 to 4 ghosts, maybe enhanced shockwaves, and you just build this big army, EMP everything, remove all the storms, and just have fun with it. Just have a really powerful army, because, well, there is no forge on the field yet for Parting. It's underway, but it's not quite done. As we have drop on in the main base as well. These Cyclones actually doing a pretty good job here. They will knock down a well, they're going to get a pylon. That is going to be something. And I mean, look how much damage they're doing even without the with the lock on. There we go. Enhanced shockwaves are underway here, and we should see enhanced shockwaves timing out with 1-1 here. And again, that's the timing that we're really going to see Gumiho look to hit for. At this point, his economy's not terrible. He is down 1 base on the Protoss player, but Parting's not mining out of that yet. He's only down 10 workers, which, you know, with mules, not terrible. He's going to have a 2 upgrade lead for a while in this game, and a 1 upgrade lead for even longer. So now the first storm's not going to land. The second and third, though, they're going to be a lot nicer. But again, only 1 medevac does go down, so there's plenty of healing in this army. And I think we've one or 2 storms left at this point now. Ghosts are out, Enhanced Shockwave's not done just yet. But we're kind of hitting that point where Parting wants to get aggressive, because this army that he has made for himself is not really a defensive one, or it's not really a late game one. It's all about swallowing up the Terran army as they push, and well, if they don't do that, it's not in a great spot. But now 1-1 is done for the Terran player. Enhanced Shockwave's done in just about 20 seconds, I think. I mean, when that happens, like, Gumiho's army is going to have this massive power spike. He's going to have 2 upgrades over his opponent. He's going to have Enhanced Shockwave, so, well, his opponent's going to effectively have even one or 2 less upgrades because they don't have shields. And that is, I mean, a 3 to 4 upgrade lead, it makes a difference in this. Maybe not as much as in TVZ, but it makes a big difference in this matchup indeed. So now Gumiho's looking to move on out here as he approaches max. Nice feedbacks there. Nice storm on top of the medevacs, knocking one of them down and just removing a lot of the healing in this army. But now we're going to see the army moving on forward here. Nice scan. It will show where a lot of this is. I don't see any flanking out Templars out on the map, so we're going to have to see EMPs land rather nicely indeed. You know, the storms are landing. EMPs are not getting exactly what they need to just yet, but we only have 2 storms left in this army. Zealots run into the main base and the natural, trying to find some value here. The rally looks like it may be enough to clean this up, as again, the one upgrade lead is the thing, but we need to see EMPs. There we go. 1 EMP is going to land tremendously, but the storms are still here, so Gumiho can't really commit. 18 workers do go down. A storm on the left-hand side. Again, they're not really landing, but they are forcing Gumiho to play a little bit more scared, a little bit more reticent, be a little bit more uncomfortable at moving on in. There we go. Nice feedback on top of the Ghost. But I think we're out of storms now. Disruptor is out, of course. We should see Gumiho just stim on top of that. No, he's just going to stim backwards. He's going to be fine, not taking any value here. And, well, now Gumiho's going to look to move on. This is, I think, the timing. I don't think there's any storms anymore. We see the Zealots trying to get on top of things. That's going to be 1 storm, 2 storm, 3 storm out of the Warp Prism. I guess there was energy in those side Templars after all, and the Ghosts are mostly done. The army supply of Gumiho mostly down. The units, excuse me, the income of Gumiho mostly down as well. The strong push that he was looking for, well, his upgrade lead was not there, and GG Parting. He's going to take it in 5 games, and folks, it's going to be Parting versus Ragnarok, moving on to our final series of the day.